Hi, this is Zoe from The Whisper Tree, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the cycles of change, the natural cycles of death, rebirth, and letting go of the old way of being, and to kind of make way for new changes, and also how this affects us and how we can support ourselves in this process, because it can be quite intense. So first of all, I wanted to say that at the moment we're in this very intense cycle. We've come to the end of a cycle, a millions of year cycle, and we're coming into a new one now. And this cycle, this time, is very rapid, very rapid shifts, very intense. And I really feel that humanity as a whole is feeling this intensity and this rapid change. And even if people have no kind of spiritual awareness or inclination, I feel that everyone is feeling it. And they're probably feeling it in lots of things kind of happening, and things that are changing and shifting all the time. And you hear a lot of people saying, oh well, when things are settled down, then we can get on with X, Y, and Z. But I feel that it's just not going to happen. It's this is how it is now, and the best thing we can do is to surrender to it, accept it, and surrender, and just kind of ride the storms, I guess, and just kind of flow with it more. So we as I mentioned before, we've come to the end of a million-year cycle, but we have cycles within cycles. We have periods of the year where we have cycles. We have cycles that converge as well, and we have cycles within nature, the death, rebirth as well. We see that a lot, and it's just part of the natural process of things. And I think at this time that I'm doing this video, it's actually Samhain, Halloween. Halloween was yesterday. Samhain is the Christian, like the pagan festival that predates Christianity. So it's around that time when when the veils are thin and we're connecting in with the spirit. But it also marks the beginning of that death rebirth cycle, where we're letting go of the old to bring in the new. And this cycle takes us up to the winter solstice, 21st of December. It doesn't just stop on that day, but it kind of starts to wane just before the solstice. And we in this period, it's all about letting go of old stuff, like things that no longer serve us, to bring in and make way for the new beginnings, a new year. And this is where we've always been drawn to do resolutions for the new year. And at the moment, I see people all around me decluttering like crazy. I have a friend who's kind of got rid of 3/4 of a wardrobe, because she just feels that need to change the way she looks. And and I always think it's so interesting when I see that, because it's the energy of the cycles that are driving that behavior. So I mentioned on a personal level, but also on a global level, we're seeing as well all these kind of economic crashes, and Brexit in Britain, and crashing of old financial institutions, like weird kind of environmental changes. And it's because all the old ways of being are breaking down, and as I said, to bring in the new. Like our NHS, our health system in the UK, is in crisis as well, because it cannot sustain itself, and the new energy, it has to go. So how do we, on a personal level, experience more of this death rebirth cycle, the letting go of the old? How does that manifest for us? Well, I feel that we're very much impacted on the 4 planes, on the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level. So on the physical, we'll probably be clearing and pulling up old genetic weaknesses, like you may have thought you cleared something and then it comes up again, or just disease, clearing the disease. On the emotional, we'll be clearing like old past hurts, deep emotional trauma, even past life wounding, and unresolved stuff as well will be coming up for us. On the mental, we'll be clearing sort of rigid patterning, breaking down illusion, which is, it's negativity, breaking that down as well, density. And on the spiritual, we'll probably find ourselves being open more to, following our intuition, opening up to our inner guidance, shifting in that way, maybe even leading a more spiritual way of life. So it's all good. But these moments of clearing can be really tough, because we can't just clear without not experiencing the emotions and experiencing the negative density. We have to go through it. We have to feel it to let go. And I think especially, well, I know for me personally, when I'm pulling up physical stuff, I just think of the worst case scenario possible, and it makes me feel unsafe. It really, really does. So how can we help ourselves? How can we support ourselves in this process when we're clearing a lot of stuff? Well, I would say being connected as much as possible. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about that in a moment, of what I mean by this. Because I said, when we're going through these clearing processes on the physical, mental, emotional, whatever, it's tough, and it can be hard and intense. So to stay connected, we need to remind ourselves of those heartfelt emotions, of that energy that weaves into all of us. It's that electromagnetic energy that science is very aware comes from the heart. It fills the space around us. That space around us is not empty. It's full of energy. It's in each and every one of us, through the heart, through the mind, through the intent, and it connects us up to the cosmos. It weaves into our planet. And when we learn to connect into that energy through the heart, is a really, really good way, an effective way to do that. This will support us to stay connected and support us in those moments that are really tricky. So this is why we have to feel like the situation is already resolved. This is bringing me back to this procedure I'm going to be showing you. This is something I've been working on, because recently I had quite a nasty eye infection in the back of my eye, and it pulled up a lot of fear for me. The hospital didn't know what was going on. They thought it might be a stroke or high blood pressure, or they just didn't know. And then they kind of diagnosed it as a eye infection. So again, I knew whatever it was coming up to clear, but it still didn't stop me thinking, oh, maybe they've got it wrong. Maybe it could be something else. Maybe they're not going to cure it. Maybe my eyesight, which was going, is not going to restore itself. So I had to kind of live with those feelings, because I knew that to really clear this, I would have to go through those emotions, those feelings. I would have to feel them to release them. So when I was pulling up that fear, I was very much working on the emotional level as well, and I kind of honed this procedure that I'm going to take you through. And I feel that it can be applied to anything. So if you're struggling with a family member, or you're struggling at work with things that are going off, and there's a situation that's really tricky for you, this can be applied to that. It can be applied to when you're clearing sickness. It can be, when you're pulling up emotional stuff, mental negativity, anything like that. So first of all, you need to just recognize and acknowledge what emotions you're pulling up, or thoughts that you're pulling up. That's the first thing. So you just recognize it, don't attach. You just say, oh, I'm feeling a bit negative. Then you bring the feeling into your heart for that condition, that, whatever it is, that situation. Feel love, just love it. You love it because and you bless it. You actually bless it and thank it for coming up, because it's come up for a reason. It's come up to clear. And because it's entered your consciousness, you're now aware of it, and it's allowing you to clear. And as you bring those feelings in, it allows you to kind of have a mental picture of that feeling as though it's already resolved, or that situation as though it's already resolved. So I want you to visualize that situation, or that feeling, or that physical condition as though it's already resolved, it's already healed. And that in turn allows you, and this is the crux of the matter, to bring in the heartfelt emotion that it's already shifted. That is key, because remember I said our heart is just full of this electromagnetic energy, which connects us to the energy in the space around us, which in turn co-creates our reality. So if we're bringing that feeling that the situation is resolved, that, you know, the healing has occurred, then this is what will happen. You know, it's law of attraction. It's gonna happen for us. We're creating that. Now, the ancients, you know, the Buddhist monks in Egypt and Tibet, the indigenous cultures in Native American India, they understood this connection. They, and those in the Eastern cultures still today understand this connection and the power of our heartfelt emotions, and to feel as though the situation has already resolved itself, that they can understand how powerful that can be. You know, people have self-healed themselves through thinking in this way. This is what they would probably, and this is what Buddhists probably call compassion. It's not just this feeling of feeling sorry for ourselves or a sadness or an empathy. It's that connection, that heartfelt connection to ourselves and to the energy. And I feel that, you know, as the more we do this, and you can do this as you wake up at, first thing in the morning. You could do this. You could, you could wake up and you could do your visualization. You could do that procedure. You know, whatever you're working on, just do that procedure. But that's just a moment in time. I feel that this needs to be done every time you're thinking. It's like a way of life. It's a way of being almost. So the more you do it, the more it will work for, and you'll see those shifts and changes. So I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment or share, because this really helps me to get my message out to others that really need it. And blessings from the Whisper Tree. Thank you.